This is just a quick look at the Art and Fly 72 colors of premium oil-based colored pencils, as well as I'm going to take a look at their professional sketch markers with the brush tip 48 colors. Now, the markers actually come in a box instead of one of those little zip containers like you often see with marker sets these days. There is a divider down in there between the front and back rows, and it looks like there may be, yeah, there's some sort of a little plastic thing in there that holds them and keeps them upright. So in a way it's kind of a better solution than the bags, which tend to flop all over the place when you start removing markers. Now, the markers themselves are a fairly hefty marker. I like the shape of them. Instead of being round or square, they're sort of, I guess that's octagonal. They have a chisel tip, and my favorite, the brush tip. The brush tip on these is very responsive. It's like a, almost like a sponge type of brush tip. The color range in them, I mean, it's only a 48 color set, so for that they do still have a nice variety of colors with several different shades in each color. There's plenty enough here that it would make a really great starter set, and you'll be able to blend these to get whatever other colors you may want. Now, the pencils, they come in this actually very pretty tin. And there is a color chart on the lid, but of course you recommended to make your own color chart on whatever type of paper it is that you're going to be using. The pencils are in 2 trays inside, and this is not a short pencil. I've actually been using them today. The colors in this set are very well balanced. You have ample shades in each color to get the results that you would want. Now, these are an oil-based pencil, which means that unlike your wax-based pencils like Prismacolor, these are not going to bloom on your artwork. That's where you get this sort of a white haze, which is the wax buildup. Now, what I did earlier was I tried to put these pencils through basically the wringer. This is a piece of medium tooth sketch paper, and what I did is I tried every possible technique other than using solvents or like a blending pencil. I wanted to just use the pencils themselves and see what they would do. And as you can see, hopefully on the video, they actually performed really, really well. You know, obviously it's a great piece of art, but it's just intended to show you what these pencils can do. This part of the mushroom, I actually burnished it heavily with several different layers of color until there was practically no tooth left on the paper. And yet I was still able to come back in here and cross-hatch over top of it. Because these pencils, even though they have a nice firm point, they still go down on the paper just so smoothly, and very creamy feel to them. As you can see, you can blend and burnish many different colors together. I think I put like 5 different colors in here, and then I came in with the white pencil and started to burnish over top on these two. And you can see that if you take a very light hand with them, you know, you can get sort of a stippling effect on there. The cross-hatching works well. You know, stimulating the grass, and you know, the greens, they really pop once you've burnished them. I actually burnished over the entire thing here with a lighter green, and then came back in and was still able to do cross-hatching and lines with the darker green over top of it. So I have to say that these pencils are going to more than likely become one of my go-to pencils, and I do have, you know, some of the much more expensive artist brands, and these pencils perform just as well as those brands do, and I dare say in some cases better. Now, of course, the only thing that we don't know about is the light fastness. And, you know, with a less expensive brand of pencils, I'm not so sure that I would trust this for lasting works of art that you would want to display or sell. But for the pure pleasure of being able to use the pencils, create drawings, work in coloring books, they are superb. You know, I can only highly recommend them. Now, one of the very interesting things that you can do if you have their pencils and their alcohol markers is you can actually lay down your base coat in alcohol marker and then go back over top of it in the pencil. And this really saves you a lot of time. I would not recommend this technique for something that you want to put on display and have last, because by their nature, all alcohol markers will fade. There is simply nothing you can do about that. It's the way that the inks work on those particular type of markers. But as you can see, you can get stunning results with very little effort. I think it only took me about 20 minutes to do this, and you know, you just save so much time because you don't have to go in and try to color in the whole background with the colored pencil, which takes layer after layer after layer. I started out with marker and then just went back in with the pencil. Now what's really amazing about these pencils is this is a very smooth and shiny marker paper, a very thick cardstock. It doesn't have hardly any tooth on it, and yet these pencils performed superbly on this paper. All of this darker color in the tail and the highlights and the dark in the wings, all of this is done with the pencils over top of the marker, and they're super smooth, silky. They went down so easily on this paper. I just simply cannot recommend these enough. If you only can buy one set of pencils, I would recommend these Art and Fly.